Welcome back to Headlines. I'm Wes Austin, and these are today's top stories. First, Bill and Hillary Clinton have been subpoenaed to testify about their ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Can we just skip to the part where nothing happens? Then, ex-Obama officials are facing a federal grand jury probe over whether they pushed the fake Trump-Russia collusion story during the 2016 election. At this point, it's not really whether they did it, it's just whether they remember to smash their phones and wipe their emails. Next, Rachel Maddow claimed that the Trump administration wanted to feed illegal immigrants to alligators in Florida. She did. We have the clip. I think President Trump broke Rachel so badly, she's now pitching Shark Week plots as immigration policy. And finally, a Democratic congresswoman told a crowd in Mexico City that she's a proud Guatemalan before she's an American. If you love your home country more than the one that gave you power, freedom, and a six-figure salary, maybe it's time to go home and run for office there. And then we go to the comment section. The first comment is on the segment that we did about the Texas Democrats who fled the state and ran to Chicago to avoid a vote. Someone asked, didn't they do this once before? So we're going to look at that and find out what happened. And then on the segment we did on Kamala Harris not naming the Democratic leader, yesterday we had a discussion about Ken Martin, the DNC chairman. And someone asked if he was actually, or used to be, an artist for Mad magazine. So we're going to answer that question. Okay, let's dive in. Bill and Hillary Clinton have been subpoenaed to give testimony relating to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, don't get your hopes up. The only bars Bill Clinton will ever see are the ones with interns and saxophone music. The Clintons have been compelled to testify before the House Oversight Committee, along with nearly a dozen former federal officials, including former FBI directors James Comey and Robert Mueller. So basically, this is a deep state alumni reunion tour. Hillary is scheduled to appear on October 9th, and Bill's deposition is set for October 14th. Bill's lawyers are reportedly asking if the witness chair comes with privacy curtains and mood lighting. The Justice Department has launched a federal grand jury investigation of former Obama officials into whether they promoted false Trump-Russia ties during the 2016 election. It's not really whether they did it or not, it's just whether they learned proper evidence disposal from the Clinton school of what emails? The probe could lead to criminal charges against James Clapper, John Brennan, and James Comey, or, as the media used to call them, anonymous sources close to the matter. The investigation might face some hurdles due to statutes of limitations on some of the alleged offenses. Perhaps they should get New York's Alvin Bragg on the phone. He has some creative ways of getting around statutes of limitations. Brennan is reportedly under investigation for possibly lying to Congress in May 2023 about the Steele dossier, you know, the document that made BuzzFeed look like the Pentagon. Brennan testified that the CIA was very much opposed to having any reference or inclusion of the Steele dossier in the Obama-ordered intelligence assessment. However, contemporaneous records show that Brennan had written that he believed the information warrants inclusion. Of course the CIA lied to Congress. That's their second favorite hobby, right after overthrowing governments. In Rachel Maddow's latest meltdown, she accused the Trump administration of wanting to feed illegal immigrants to alligators. I'm not kidding. Here's the clip.
Right, frame everything as immigration enforcement. Because for immigration enforcement, not only is all force justified, but maximum force is preferred. And they're trying to make it into a national entertainment to threaten to feed immigrants to alligators in South Florida.
Next up on MSNBC, President Trump has been accused of launching immigrants into space with a giant slingshot. Film at 11. A House Democrat said that she was a proud Guatemalan before American at a progressive conference in Mexico City that she attended with several members of the squad.
Porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo, primero que soy americana.
That was Spanish for I hate America. Okay, not exactly, but close enough. What Delia Ramirez actually said was this: I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. She's in Congress to represent Americans, and she opens up with, "I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American." That's like showing up at your wedding and announcing you're still in love with your ex. On her website, Ramirez admits that her husband is in the country illegally and seems proud of the fact that she's in a mixed status marriage and fights for the rights of dreamers like her husband. So your husband is in this country illegally. Not for long. And now on to the comment section. So the first comment is on the segment that we did about the Texas Democrats who fled the state, went to Chicago so they were trying to block a vote on redistricting in Texas. This is from Bartlester 591. Texas Democrats have done this once before. They did this in 2021 when we were putting in voter ID laws. So I thought, let's look at that and see what actually happened. So I pulled this up from the Texas Tribune. Denying quorum has been a Texas political strategy since 1870. While the Democrats could technically derail the GOP's redistricting map, such efforts have been largely symbolic and had limited success blocking past legislation, experts say. So from this article, they did talk about what happened in 2021. The 2021 quorum break, called to block restrictive voting measures, collapsed after 6 weeks when internal divisions fractured Democratic unity. Though Democrats initially maintained solidarity during their, did I say solidarity correctly? Solidarity during their say in Washington, disagreements emerged during the second special session. The effort ended when 3 Houston Democrats returned, citing the COVID-19 pandemic and providing quorum that allowed the controversial legislation to pass. And the second comment had to do with the segment that we did where Kamala Harris wouldn't name the leader of the Democrats. So we were talking about that on yesterday's show, and someone had said that the leader is Ken Martin. So we talked about him being the leader of the DNC. And as a follow-up to that, we had this comment from Keenan Rice, 2612. Wasn't Ken Martin an artist for Mad Magazine? Now, when I first read that, I thought that would make total sense. You know, like an artist for Mad Magazine being in charge of the DNC. Perfect. But I did a little bit of research, and I don't think that that's the same guy. So I read Ken Martin's bio. I felt like I had to. And I didn't see anything about him being an artist for Mad Magazine. But I did see that there's this other guy named Don Martin, who I guess was a famous cartoonist for Mad Magazine from 1956 to 1988. So I think maybe you were thinking about this Don Martin instead of Ken Martin. Thanks for watching Headlines. And if you know anyone out there that might like my videos or clips, please do send them a link. I would really appreciate it. I'm Wes Austin. Good night.